So the V5 beta update is here, and there are more changes than last time. So for Finan, they went back on his buffed base HP, and they also went back on his nerfed base attack. So his base HP is nerfed again, and his base attack is buffed again. Makes you wonder why they did those initial changes in V3 to begin with, but whatever. His base defense is also lowered, so for some reason they decided to attack his survivability, even though V3 was all about increasing his survivability. I guess Hoyo can't decide what they want. And then Finan's E1 got a change. So now his ultimate space speed starts at 66% instead of 60%, which is what it is in his base kit. And he gets 1.5% now upon killing targets instead of 2%, up to 84%. So this is a buff in pure fiction because it reaches a higher speed than before. And then he also got slightly higher crit damage on his E1, and it lasts for a bit longer. Honestly, this doesn't really matter that much. Again, Finan is really oversaturated with crit buffs. Yeah, say hi YouTube, my chat. Okay, so that's the Finan changes. They didn't touch his base kit at all. Saber got some pretty big buffs. She now gains 3 core resonance upon using her skill instead of 2 core resonance. This basically translates to an extra 8 energy every time she uses her skill. So that should help make up for the fact that in the previous version, they nerfed her core resonance from giving 10 energy to giving 8 energy. But this makes up for that. They also changed her talent too, so now she always starts the battle with 60% energy instead of 40%. This helps her a lot, obviously. In Memory of Chaos stages, you usually start with 50%. So now it's 60%. There were some rotations with Remembrance main character, where if you weren't using Sunday, then Saber might struggle to get a first turn ultimate, but this will help her when she's paired with RMC, again, when you don't have Sunday or Hoho. Additionally, just wording changes on everything else. A slight change to her E6. It increases the overflow energy that she can keep up to 200, whereas previously she can only store up to 120 excess energy. So that's nice. Archer got a slight nerf. The damage multiplier of his skill was reduced by 40%, which does hurt because he's spamming the skill over and over again. So that 40% multiplier nerf is going to stack up, and that's unfortunate, but I understand. Archer was really strong, and he's a free unit, so I guess they wanted to tune him down. Xingqiu got some really good buffs. First is the energy from her talent 2. She now gets an additional 8 energy when she uses this. And then they changed her talent 3. So instead of being ultimate damage bonus, now she ignores 25% of the target's defense whenever she gets max syzygy stacks. And she can get max syzygy stacks a lot more often than before, especially with Hyacine's Light Cone. You're gonna have really good uptime on this talent 3 and the 25% defense ignore. And she gets more energy in her base kit now, which helps her have better uptime on her ultimate, which in turn helps her reach max syzygy stacks more often, which again gives her the better uptime on her defense thread. So this is really huge for Xingqiu. Really good buffs for her. And then her E6 also got buffed. It gives her more stacks of syzygy, and the Ice Res pen is increased. So that's nice for the Xingqiu whales. Blade got some changes. So you can't really tell from the numbers here, but what this means is that Blade got his taunt value increased. When Blade uses his skill, he gains extra taunt value. They buffed the taunt value that he gets, so he should be getting hit even more now, which obviously is exactly what Blade wants. They buffed the scaling of his ultimate. Blade got an E1 change, which is they removed the cap on his E1, and they changed Blade's T2, so now HP restored from healing increases by 20%. Basically, they took the healing part of his T1 and they put it on his T2, and then just wording changes here. Kafka, just wording changes, exactly the same. Silverwolf, just wording changes, exactly the same. It's insane that Silverwolf survived this beta. I thought they would at the very least reduce her numbers, the multiplier of her ult in particular, but nope, they just kept those the same, so that's pretty neat. Huge W for Silverwolf. Big W's for Blade, Xingqiu, and Saber. Sad for Archer. And then Finan technically only got buffed, but we're still kind of sad that he didn't get more buffs, or more changes at least, to how his gameplay works. But it is what it is. I think at this point, it's clear that we can safely say Hoyo knows the direction they want to take his kit, and that direction is Saridra. So while there is a V6 scheduled in the next 5 days, I wouldn't expect major changes to Finan in V6, because I think Hoyo is set on their direction for him. And there were no changes to light cones or anything. So yeah, those are the V5 changes. Overall, not the most dramatic changes, and we'll see if the changes in V6 are any better. But overall, the characters seem to be in the spot that Hoyo wants them to be now, for better or worse. So thank you so much for watching. Until next time!